Okay, my end pin jack is a little loose, and so I'm going to try to get this off using any kind of tools that most households will have. So this is, you may need a pair of pliers. In this case, these have these cushions, which I would use. But if you only have this kind of plier, just put a couple of rounds of tape on there, or if you have a piece of leather or a piece of rubber that you can put over it. But so anyway, to get that loosened up, and so obviously now I can tighten this by hand. And this nut is tight on here because the inside nut is too far back on the body of the jack. So what we have to do is take this nut off and this washer and push this through so we can turn the nut back up. Now in this case, I have an old jack male part. I'm going to put it in here for a second so you can see that that's loose. Now that might be enough to be able to use a 1/2 inch wrench, but it's not. So you've got to stick something through this hole that's in here, and you'll find a hole in yours as well. So I put the hole, in this case I have a metal scribe, which I use. You may not have that, but something that'll fit through the hole and position this. You'll have to find something around your home that'll do that. And then, because you can't put the wrench in this way because they're too fat, go in line with the hole. And then you don't need to turn this much, just enough to loosen it up. Okay, there's a couple of turns, loosens it up. And now we want to be able to get that off. So stick this jack part way in, don't click it, just put it part way in, put a little downward pressure on it, and you should be able to just turn this nut until it comes off. And the secondary benefit of having this jack in here is that you have some place for the nut and the washer to go so they don't drop onto the floor and roll under the table like they usually do. And so then carefully pull this out, making sure that the body of the jack doesn't go inside the guitar. Now, you can use a piece of twine for this. In this case, I have just a piece of thin wire. And I'm going to go through both of these holes. There's a hole in the top and a hole in the bottom. Make sure that you get that in there like that. And we don't need to put this on here too tight, just something so it won't come off. Something like that is plenty good. And you have enough room. So then you can push this inside the guitar, reach inside there, and make sure you need to have at least 18 inches probably. And then we have let's put this so we can see where I'm pulling it out. Okay, so here's the body of the jack, and this is the nut that we need to back off because we want, on this particular guitar, I need to tighten it up. So it's got to go towards the end pin. Right. So I'm going to turn this a couple of turns, and that should be enough. In the case where there's not enough of the small area of the jack sticking out beyond this facing, you'll need to go back away from the wire that I stuck in here. So let's pull this back through, and we can see probably go back down here, change the point of view so you can see this. Make this a little closer. Now, what we want to see is the larger portion of the jack almost flush or just flush with the outside of the body. And in this case, that's pretty close, but not close enough. So I'm going to push this back in here, pull it back, adjust by another half turn. Okay, and now that's about what we want right there. So we'll very carefully remove this wire because we don't want to lose the jack. Hold on to it, pull the wire through. Put your jack pin that has your washer and your nut back in there. A little downward pressure. Okay, we got it back through, have it adjusted. Had to do this a couple times. I did it off camera, had to run it back and forth. And so now we're going to just tighten this up a little bit. Put this finish cap on. And we're just slightly proud. And now it's slightly proud of the collar. And Bob's your uncle.